The central goal of the college writing program is to support teaching and learning with writing across the curriculum.
Help students at any point of the writing process, whether that's them just coming up with a topic or figuring out how they want to get started writing or already have a completed draft of something.
Provide advice to students on their work in progress.
To build a culture of writing, that's more or less a motto.
The FYS program dates back to the late 1980s, as does the college writing program. They came about together.
Writing has been extraordinarily valuable over the last 30 or 40 years. Part of what we want to do is help people see that, help students improve their writing so they're prepared to do the writing wherever they go once they leave here.
The college writing program had been in existence in a limited way by providing WAS to faculty who were interested. Once the FYS became a requirement for students as part of a common course of study, and faculty said, how are we supposed to do this? The writing program said, we will provide WAS, so every FYS section will get a writing associate.
College writing program has two main tasks. The first is supporting for faculty development and writing across the curriculum. And then the other is the WA program, where our student workers work with students in courses on their writing assignments, as well as having drop-in hours to look at any writing in progress.
WAs are liaisons between the FYS instructor and the students in the class.
We also have to work with our partner professors very closely, which is very empowering to the importance of our jobs.
I love seeing what people are doing in other disciplines. As the director of the program, I get to work across the disciplines, and that really shows you the assumptions that you're making about writing and how they're largely grounded in the training that you had.
You are actively learning to get better at it and not just thinking that you are the best in helping other people.
WAs play mostly the role of questioner. They ask students hard questions, big questions that help students realize their intentions in writing.
They're there to help students at any point of the writing process.
Last year, we started doing workshops with faculty to prepare them for the coming of large language models and artificial intelligence. We got students who had been using it in a room along with faculty who had been experimenting with it in a room, and they talked to, it was for faculty development, they talked to other faculty about what they had been using it for.
My concern at the moment is less about AI and writing. We all are going to need to learn how to write with it and to think about the ethics of doing that, and there's so much that we don't understand, so I'm just trying to kind of read and understand
why they had been using it. And what I learned in that workshop is it shows why this is going to be such a difficult transition.
A couple of years ago, students were wondering who was the person on the wall and why was there only one portrait on the wall, and might there be other parts of CWP history that we could bring to light.
Which led me to thinking about what's related to our history or past events that we could showcase.
And we should make it a joint project between the students, the WAS, and CWP staff. So that's where it came from.
So we'd go into one of these spreadsheets and we had to focus on the WA names, email, their grad year, and maybe one other thing.
I want to know what students think when you see all of that, and how does that help you understand your place here and your learning here, if you know that there's this really interesting history that precedes you and your time here.
So do you have an anniversary coming up? Is that why you're thinking about
No,
this?
we're
or-
just curious.
Okay, sure. No, that's a good reason.
But we saw a lot of the archives of the Lafayette newspaper, an old diary, which was cool. It was very tiny, very like mundane thing. Like 2 poetry yearbooks in it, which I guess was like the literary magazine of that time. There was like old literary magazine writing workshop pamphlets, which I guess they had writing workshops on campus and thought it important to save everything that was written at those. Seeing the archives here and like noting the engagement in writing like currently, because we're interested in the history, we have the writing program, we have the literary magazine, we have the newspaper, but then also seeing that it has been that important for a while, even if it's possibly been more important in the past, like just that some semblance of it has continued is just important for like the core of the college in general, because writing is like very important for everyone, and like realizing that it has been important for a while and it has been important in different ways was definitely the most interesting thing that I took from the archives.
So many open questions right now that it's difficult to create an institutional plan just because the ground isn't stable enough. It keeps shifting.
And what does it mean now in 2023 to support writing when there are all kinds of questions about students' rights to their own language, and what does it mean to ask somebody to write academic English and not other kinds of Englishes, and for all of us to be more mindful about what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it.
Who you're talking to every day and who you're working with, that has a lot to do with the evolution of the program, and that's not really planned.
Figuring out like what even are the possibilities for growth within the constraints that we have, what have people done in the past in order to figure out what's available to us in the future.